What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It is your girl, your diva knowledge, Lady Mocha, here at Mocha's Cafe de Paris Lounge. Good morning. I hope all is well with everyone. We're almost down to the finish line. Friday will be here soon. Then we'll have the weekend. But I definitely want to do a quick video this morning. Basically based on a very serious subject that I'm sure has affected all of us at one point in time. Good morning for all of you who are just stopping by. Um, I thought it was imperative that I did a video this morning due to the fact that here in my hometown, as I told all you before, if y'all don't know where I'm from, I actually live in Savannah, Georgia. And lately in Savannah, we have had a lot of murders within the last 2 weeks. We have had a lot of murders, a lot of killings, a lot of lives have been taken in such a short period of time, to the point to where two lives resulted in it basically we lost two elderly people based on violence that was occurring between these young troubled youth basically. And what has happened is it has caused a lot of uproar here in my area, Savannah, Georgia. It's been a lot of murderers, there's been a lot of shootings, and it's starting to happen between a lot of young black males under the ages of 20 years old. We had a shooting recently which caused a woman, I believe she was a grandmother. She was actually in her home at the time when the shooting occurred, and I guess the men that were trying to retaliate or go after a group of other young black men, instead the individual they were trying to target, or the individual they were intentionally going after, the individual they was retaliating against, that particular person wasn't there at the time, but that person's grandmother was there. So what happened was they went ahead and shot up the house anyway, and the grandmother, she ended up getting killed in the process of that. So basically that's just one particular incident that has occurred within the Savannah, Georgia area. It's been a lot of shootings since then. The reason why I want to speak on this message for this due to the fact that I can definitely relate to the families that are affected by violence, because I, for one, have experienced it personally. My brother was murdered back in 1994. This happened, he's been going every bit of almost maybe 26, 27, maybe close to 30 something years. I'm not sure. What's up, D boys? Good morning. Good morning for everybody that's coming on in. Appreciate you. And basically, you know, my brother, he was murdered at the age of 15 years old. And he was murdered on his way going to school. You know, him and his friend was on their way to school, and there was a group of gentlemen, well, I don't want to say gentlemen, but a group of guys, a thug guys, you know, that was following my brother and his friend to school. And what had happened was, a week prior to that, my brother's friend had beef, you know, with with some group of guys or whatever. So what happened was, instead of the situation dying down and escalated to the point to where a week later they ended up following my brother and his friend to the school. So when that happened, they were like, I guess when the group of guys was approaching them, my brother and his friend knew what was going to happen. So they tried to run inside the school to avoid the situation. So as they were running inside of the school, what happened was, my brother's friend, he made it inside of the school. The principal had locked the doors in by then. So the principal had locked the door on my brother before my brother could actually go inside the school and avoid the injury of getting hurt. And what happened was, when they locked the school door, my brother was left outside with the group of guys that was approaching them. So what they did was, they really had wanted to go, the hit was supposed to be for his friend, really. But my brother was just so happened at the wrong place at the wrong time or whatever, and his friend was already inside the school. So what happened was, the 6, 7 guys, they jumped my brother. So my brother was never really a tall guy. He was probably 5 foot even maybe 5'1" or whatever, because majority of people in my family are relatively short. So what happened was they had jumped my brother. They physically jumped him and they attacked him first. And after they jumped him and physically fought him, one of them decides to pull out a gun. And then when they pull out the gun, they shot my brother in his lower back. So in result of that, he ended up, the ambulance came, they picked my brother up and everything, and they took him inside the hospital. And it's a long story. It's a lot of, things that, had occurred within that process. But what ended up happening was my brother fought for his life for like a month. And eventually what happened was, he lost the battle because he kept losing so much blood in the process of the bullet that targeted him in his back or whatever. So the doctor had already told my mother that had my brother survived it, it still would have not, his life would have not been the same, because he would have ended up being a vegetable. The bullet had penetrated his spinal cord, so he would have not he would have not been the same, even if he would have lived through it, even if he would have survived it. And my mother definitely did not want that. She didn't want him to die, but she didn't want him to have to live, having to go through something that tragic or whatever. Thank you. Yes, I could definitely state that I am a victim of violence, because I lost a brother through that. And it took a toll on me and my family, because he was the oldest brother. And I appreciated everybody. Thank you. I thank you so much. It took a toll on us, because he was my oldest brother. So when he died, it left me to have to be the oldest or whatever. So it took a really big toll, because that was a really big incident for Savannah. We never had an incident that tragic, that big. Ever since then, it's been 1,000 killings since then. But we're talking about back in 1994, before the school violence and school shootings really got out of hand. So the young man who did it, he ended up getting I think 18, 19 years for the shooting. And while he was incarcerated inside the prison, he actually wanted to reach out to my mother. And it took my mother a long time, of course, to get past, the fact that he killed my brother. She was willing to allow him to reach out to her, because, at the time he was 16 years old and my brother was 15. And I think by then, it had been every bit 11, 12 years by the time he went to reach out to my mom. So my mom, she never really hated him for it. She hated him for what he did, but she never hated him for it. My mom just, she's a strong believer in God. So she just never, held any grudges against him, and at that point it wasn't going to do us any good anyway, because my brother was gone. So it wasn't no point in hating the guy who did it, you know what I mean, and wanting to retaliate. And even though my brother had a family and he had a father who was very, very well known in Savannah, it really could have escalated, and it almost did. But long story short, I just want to share that story with y'all to let y'all know that I am a victim of violence. So I can definitely relate to what other families go through when they lose a loved one due to violence, due to somebody else's lack of respect and taking somebody else's life. Not realizing that when you take somebody else's life, everybody who's connected to that person, you take a piece of them too. When you kill somebody's brother, you kill somebody's son, you kill somebody's daughter, you kill somebody's husband, you got to realize it affects the whole family. It's just not that person that you're taking. You're taking everybody down with that person that's connected to them. So basically, affects the whole family, which in turn affects the whole community. Because here it is, that was another black man that could have been another successful black person that could have contributed something to the black community. So that when you take somebody's life, you're not realizing you may be taking somebody that could be your future judge, who could be a future lawyer, who can basically make a big difference in your life. You don't know when you shoot a gun and you put that bullet out there. You don't know what type of future you're robbing that person of. You get what I'm saying? Rep, I had 9-year-old cousin got killed in drive-by. Yeah, rep. I mean, totally. You definitely have my sympathy because, like I stated, I have experienced it. My brother has been going almost close to 30 years now, and it's been rough. But for the most part, we gave it to God because, just some things, it's just beyond your control. The guy, he's been released. The guy that killed my brother, he was released, I say maybe 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, and he still has 10 more years on paper. He's in his 30s now. I mean, well, actually, he's in his 40s now. He was like 15, 16 when it happened. You know what I mean? So, I mean, how long can you stay angry about something that, you know what I mean, that has happened years ago? And it's not to say that we don't care and it doesn't affect us, but, you just have to move on. You have to move forward and everything. But that's the reason I'm doing this content. Like I said, lately we've been having a lot of shootings. We've been having a lot of murders that's been happening in Savannah the last 2 weeks, and it's been back to back to back to back. Okay, and of course, the situation with my brother, they tried to say it was gang related, and it had nothing to do with gangs because my brother was never even in a gang. But when the media gets a hold of something, especially it has something to do with black youths, they're automatically going to assume it was gang related, and it had nothing to do with gang. My brother was not in no gang at all or whatever. But anyway, my point to do this content is basically, I noticed that after all of these shootings that have been occurring within the Savannah area, everybody's going on their timeline and they want to keep blaming law enforcement and they want to keep blaming the mayor. Okay, and that's all I'm seeing on everybody's timeline. Oh, the mayor need to do something. Oh, the law enforcement need to do something. Everybody wants to sit up here when all of these shootings and all of these murders and all of these killings start happening back to back to back. Everybody wants to blame the mayor. They want to blame the law. They want to blame everybody who they could think of. But you know what I noticed they're not blaming? They're not blaming these parents. Do y'all notice that? Whenever there's a point when whether if you live in a city or you live in a town and there's a lot of killings and there's a lot of murders, people want to go on the TV and want to go in the media, people want to go on social media and they want to blame law enforcement. They want to blame the mayor. Why the mayor ain't doing enough? Why law enforcement ain't doing enough? Let me tell y'all something. What y'all need to start looking at is these damn parents. These parents are the reason why we have so much violence going on within these black communities. It has nothing to do with the mayor. It has nothing to do with the law enforcement. Let me tell you something. The mayor can only do but so much. Okay? Because he cannot control the mayor, law enforcement. They cannot control these young people that are going out here getting these guns and are going out here taking other people's lives. These law enforcement and mayor, they ain't got no control over that. And what y'all have to realize is it's never enough for law enforcement. Do y'all realize there are more criminals that are outnumbering police? Do you realize for every one police is maybe 15 to 20 criminals with guns? How do we expect law enforcement to be the ones to put a stop to all of this violence? A lot of it has to do with these parents. Okay, these parents are the reason why there's so much shootings and murders that are going on within the black community with these children that are under the age of 20 years old. And I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, a lot of these parents, y'all know y'all children are trouble. Y'all know y'all children are trouble. Y'all know y'all children. A lot of y'all have seen all the signs of y'all sons. All of y'all have seen the signs of your daughters basically heading down the wrong road. A lot of y'all see these signs. And a lot of it starts from when they 2, 3 years old. It's so many black parents, and the reason why I'm stating on black parents because I don't never really hear nothing about these white youths killing each other. I'm hearing more about the black youths that are killing each other. I don't hear too many white boys that are killing and shooting other white boys. Now, this is not to say that youth, they don't murder, they don't shoot, they don't kill, they blow up schools too, they do all kind of things too. But my thing is this: we're outnumbering them. It's the black youth that is outnumbering all of these shootings. They're the ones that are in the media the most. They're the ones with the most high statistics as far as violence is concerned, okay? And a lot of it has everything to do with these parents. A lot of y'all at 2, 3, y'all know y'all children at 2, 3 years old already have disciplinary problems. See it all the time on social media. Child is only 2 years old, 3 years old, and y'all think it's cute and funny that he's talking back, that he's being disrespectful. I'm going on YouTube, all of these different things I'm seeing. I see these 2 or 3 year olds that already got bad attitudes. How you 2 and 3 years old and you already disrespectful? You already cursing. You already talking back all kind of way. And the thing about it is the parents think it's funny. Exactly, D boys. It comes down to the individual. We all got to see all black lives as precious. That's exactly my point. My point is, a lot of y'all know your children are troubled and you won't do anything about it. A lot of these parents, they can't do nothing with their own children. You know your child is disrespectful. You know your child has no respect for authority. Teachers are calling you, telling you, Billy is flunking in school, Billy is skipping class, Billy got caught smoking weed. A lot of y'all parents know y'all children are troubled. Y'all know y'all children are troubled. You know your child has no respect for authority. He don't listen to teachers. Hell, half of y'all own children don't even listen to y'all. So these are the same children who go out here amongst the world who end up getting a gun and taking matters into their own hands and taking other people's lives. Because a lot of y'all parents have gotten lazy. A lot of y'all have given up on your own children. A lot of these parents, they don't want to even be bothered with their own children because that's how out of control their children have become. A lot of these parents do not even want to deal with their own children. I know a woman now who she been having trouble with her son ever since he been 4 and 5 years old. He been off the chain. But she had him at 3 and 4 years old wearing Jordans, wearing all these expensive name brand stuff. At 3, 4 years old, this little boy already had confidence of a 20-year-old. She already had him thinking he was all of that he was better than everybody, and that already at 2, 3 years old. And that's what a lot of these parents are not understanding. When they little, that is the time when you program them. At 2, 3 years old, y'all got these kids dressing like they 16. Y'all got them dressing grown. Y'all got them wearing jewelry around their neck when they're only 2, 3 years old. Y'all got them wearing Jordans. Y'all got them wearing polo shirts. Basically, y'all got them dressing like they 15, 16 years old. And this is not to say that you should let your child walk around looking any kind of way. But the thing is, a lot of y'all program these kids to be grown before they time. Y'all got them acting grown at 2, 3 years old. You got them you allowing them to curse, you allow them to talk back. They doing all of that before they even 5 years old. Rep says, I was raised with both parents and grew up in a dangerous neighborhood, but my father didn't play that. Exactly, Rep. That's exactly how it was. If you go on your social media, if you have an Instagram, if you have a Facebook account, look at how many of these young black parents got their 2 or 3-year-old dressed like they 14 and 15. Y'all got them acting already older than what they are. Y'all let them talk back. Y'all let them be disrespectful. And you wonder why by the time they're 6 or 7 years old, you really can't do much of anything with them. A lot of the violence that is occurring within our neighborhoods, y'all, it got everything to do with these goddamn parents. It got nothing to do with the law. It got nothing to do with the mayor. It got nothing to do with the congressman. It got everything to do with these parents. Y'all are not raising these children. Y'all ain't raising them. Instead, what y'all are doing is, y'all are too busy giving y'all children everything but knowledge. Y'all buy them the newest shoes. Y'all buy them the newest clothes. Y'all buy them the newest video games. But y'all don't teach them anything. Y'all don't give them what they need the most, which is morals and values. You need to, as parents, we need to learn how to give these children our struggles instead of just giving them materialistic things. Give them your struggle, give them your values, give them your knowledge, because that's what's going to protect them at the end of the day. A lot of y'all have given up on y'all children. And like I stated, there was this particular young lady. She had this little boy rotten since he was 2, 3 years old. Had him wearing gold chains, had him wearing a little necklace at toddler. And she had him dressed like he was 15 years old. Okay, so what happens is, you as parents, you start off buying your children all this expensive stuff at 2, 3 years old, and now once they become 5, once they become 6, you done gave them this materialistic attitude that already has them thinking they're better than everyone else. That already got them thinking that I don't have to have no respect, I don't have to have morals, I don't have. We ain't talking about these parents that have no control over their children. Good morning, EE. Why we don't talk about that? Why we want to sit up here and talk about that? Doing? Do y'all realize that every time a police officer locks a 15, 16-year-old up for killing or shooting another 15, 16-year-old, do you realize it's 4 or 5 more coming right behind him who's going to do the same thing? How in the world do y'all expect law enforcement to get a grip on all of this? No, a lot of y'all children, you know your child is off the chain. You know your son talks back to you. Your son disrespects you. Your son, you can't even get him to take the trash out. You can't even get him to clean the room. You can't even get him to do good in school. You can't even get him to, you know your child has no respect for authority. You know that. And some of these parents have gotten to the point that they get tired of their own children. A lot of these parents, they get rid of their own kids. They get rid of them. As soon as they're 18, they throw them out. They don't want no parts of them. I know this one particular female, she started pretty much making her son rotten at 2, 3 years old. So by the time he got 5, 6, 7, it escalated and it became a part of his personality. So what happened was, he became a father at 14 years old. He became a father. Okay? And at 15 years old, it wasn't bad enough. He already was a father. He turned around and he killed another young man that was 15 years old, just like him. He turned around and killed a young man who was trying to make something out of himself, who was a football player in school, had parents that was raising him, had parents who was teaching him morals and values. He turned around and he killed this young man. And now he's looking at, practically he's going to be facing life, and he's only 15 years old. He was already a troubled young man. A lot of y'all know y'all children are very troubled. You know they troubled. And you have become lazy as a mother. You have become lazy as a father. A lot of y'all don't want to be bothered with your own children. Y'all don't know why you don't want to be bothered with your own children, because you have allowed your child to become so out of control to the point to where you're aggravated with the monster you created. Do y'all realize how many parents out here are aggravated with the monsters they created? They don't want nothing to do with their children. So what they do is they get rid of their own kids. As soon as they feel like their child is old enough to make their own peanut butter and jelly sandwich, they get rid of them. Meaning they don't even try to keep up with them. Their child could be in the street 3, 4 in the morning. They don't care where their child is at. They don't care what that child is doing, as long as that child is out of their face. They don't care. And what happens is, these kids become a burden on all of us, everybody. These children become a burden to society because their own parents don't want to deal with the children that they have failed to discipline. This is what happens. They go out here into the world. These are the same kids who rob you. They rob you. They steal your cars. They shooting your sons and your daughters who are trying to make something out of themselves, who are going to school. They leave society's rejects. That's what I call them. These troubled children become society's rejects because their own parents don't want them. Their own parents don't want to be bothered with them. I knew a woman, she had allowed her son to get so out of control. He became so disrespectful to the point she didn't care what happened to him. She didn't even care about him no more. But this was the same young man who you would buy all the latest Jordans, who you had him cocky, you had him arrogant, and you didn't teach him anything. And as soon as this young man goes out in the world and he makes a very devastating choice that he's stuck to have to go to prison for and do life with, you don't want to have nothing to do with him. You don't want to have nothing to do with them. A lot of these children are troubled because their own parents don't want them. They don't want to be bothered with them. You don't want to be bothered with the child that you created as a monster. You know your child, you know your son, you know your daughter is off the chain. You see the signs. You know they talking back to you. You know they have no respect for authority. If you had a son or daughter in juvenile, that's already a big sign of where they heading at. They already done had encounters with the law before they even 15 years old. They done already been in juvenile. That already lets you know where they're heading. And the sad part is a lot of these parents, they're not trying to even do anything about it. They leave these children out here for us to have to deal with, for the police to have to deal with, for the mayor to have to deal with. So for all of these parents that want to sit up here and blame the law and blame the city and blame the mayor and all of this and that, what about you? What are you doing as a parent to prevent your child from going out here making a choice that's going to cause another family to get hurt? What are you doing as a mother, as a father? And a lot of you single moms, now I'm not saying all single mothers are like this, okay? If it does not apply, you don't have to reply. I know some single mothers who got children who have became very successful. I know because my mom was a single mom. And not me and my siblings, not near one of us been in jail. Not near one of us. Everybody works, everybody makes an honest living. So I'm not saying all single mothers. But then again, that was them old school single mothers. You new school single mothers, the majority of it is y'all fault for why we have so much trouble youth out here. A lot of it has to do with the fact that y'all have become so consumed within your own lives, within your own burdens, that y'all do not pay attention to your children. And not only the single mothers, you dads who walk away, who walk off, and have nothing to do with your children. This is another reason why we have so many youth that are troubled. You got parents, man and women, who's not giving a damn about what happens to their children. They don't care. You single moms, not all, if it does not apply, you don't have to reply. But the majority of y'all are too busy doing y'all. And another thing is, a lot of y'all single moms who got sons, the reason why y'all sons are so off the chain is because y'all are too busy making y'all sons y'all husband. Y'all are too busy making y'all sons y'all husbands by talking about how good they look, how sexy they are, how fine they are. That's your son, not your husband. A lot of y'all won't even make y'all sons get a job. Do y'all not understand how many single mothers let their sons sleep around and lay around and watch Netflix all day and won't make them work? Or if he does work, he only keeps that job for like a week or two. Some of y'all single mothers, y'all got daughters that keep getting pregnant every year. You got a household full of grandchildren. It amazes me how many parents have no control over their household. You're not leading anything. Your children do what the hell they want to do. They run over you, they bogart you, they disrespect you. And you wonder why they go out into the world, and these are the same troubled youth that get a hold of a gun and they take somebody else's life, because what has happened is a lot of you parents have not given your children, y'all have not made them responsible. And part of being responsible means learning how to take accountability. A lot of y'all have not put responsibility or accountability into your children. And because of that, your daughter or your son think they can go out and take somebody else's life and not have to be penalized for it, because training, ladies and gentlemen, it starts from home. It don't start from the mayor. It don't start from the law enforcement. Training starts from home. You mothers, you fathers that's producing these seeds and bringing them into this life and bringing them into this world, you are the ones that set the tone for how your children become. If you are a mother that likes to do you still want to do you too busy trying to live your life, you too busy trying to get you a man, you too busy running the streets, going to the clubs, going here, going there, you everywhere but at home disciplining your child. This is the type of monsters that you create. And the same thing for you dads. You know you got a child out there, you know you got a son, you know you got a daughter that's off the chain. You don't want to deal with them, so you leave it on the mother to deal with it all by herself. I blame the both of you. And some of you mothers, y'all will not allow the fathers to have a relationship with their children because you're too busy worrying about child support, or you too busy worrying about the woman that's in your baby father's life. Our priorities in the black community is all messed up. There's too many black parents around here still trying to do them instead of disciplining these children. That is the problem. We too busy worrying about child support instead of real support. Instead of you worrying about $1, you need to make sure that child has a connection with his father. You too busy worrying about is the money going on the books every month instead of allowing him to have a connection with him or her to have a connection with their father, so you're not having to hold it back by yourself. That is the problem with the community. This is the reason why these young people go out here into the world and they are killing other young people. They are murdering, all of this anger, all of this animosity, because you have never given them any structure and you have not given them discipline. Do you not understand that? Discipline is how children learn how to have structure. That's how they learn how to deal with their anger. If a child is not given any discipline, they will allow their anger, they will allow their hostility, they will allow it to become a part of their character. And what happens is, thank you, appreciate it, Alexandria. Thank you for stopping in this morning. Thank you. This is how these children, they build so much hatred and animosity, and that's why they ain't got a problem copping a gun and killing and shooting another child. To me, when I hear about a young man, because the reason why I'm focusing on the black males is because there are more black males that are the ones that are killing and shooting. I don't hear too many young black females that are doing the murdering and the killing and the shooting. So I just want everybody to know that, so I don't think I'm being biased and I'm just picking on these young black men. The reason why I'm talking about the young black men, because they're the ones that are targeted the most. They're the ones that are filling up these correctional facility centers. They're the ones who are being buried in the ground, okay? They're the ones who are out here getting possession of these guns. They're the ones that are being, targeted the most. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of you parents. Y'all know y'all sons are troubled. Y'all know they troubled. He leaving the house all time of night. Half of y'all don't even know where y'all children are. You have no clue. You don't care where your child goes as long as they out your face, because you don't want to be bothered with the monster that you done created. You don't want to be bothered with it. Your own monster done got out of control. A lot of y'all parents don't want to deal with these monsters that y'all done allowed to get out of control. Y'all done gave up on them. Y'all tired of them. Y'all see them coming in the house 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And guess what? Y'all don't care. You don't give a rat's ass because you don't want to be bothered. You tired of your own children. It's a lot of parents out here that are tired of their own kids. You create this monster, and as soon as this monster get disrespectful, you tell this monster to get the F out. Get out of here. Or you want to throw them, you want to fetch them back to their daddy, because you wouldn't let the daddy have a part of them the right way because you too busy being in your feelings and worried about child support. So when the child gets out of control, you want to fetch that child back to the other parent. And by then, usually damage is already done. Damage is already done. At this point in time, if you don't raise if you don't catch these children at 2, 3 years old, they already start forming their own personalities. If you look on the social media, you see a lot of these videos with these 2 and 3 year olds. They talking out their mouth like they're 15, 16. I don't want to so and so. I don't want to go to bed right now. I don't want to do this. I don't want to eat that. The children at 2, 3 years old is already calling the shots, telling their parents what they don't want to do and what they don't want to eat. Back in our day, guess what? We didn't have no choices. We had to basically work with what we was given. Children today have too many choices. What's up? Just my 4 cents. They think it's cute. They think it's funny when these 2 and 3 year olds on YouTube and on Facebook talking sassy, acting sassy, hand on their hip. You know, you making these children, allowing these children to be grown before their time. And you wonder why by the time they get 8, 9 years old, they already talking back to you. They telling you what they not going to do. They telling you what they're not going to wear. They're telling you, I'm not going to my grandmother's house. I don't want to go to my grandmama's house. At 8, 9 years old, they already got an attitude. They already have a perception of what that they think they know what's best for them. Because a lot of you parents, y'all think it's cute. A lot of these new school mothers, especially, some of these new school fathers, y'all think it's cute. You got these young men, you know, got haircuts like they 30 years old. The problem is, parents are not making their children be children. Do y'all realize it's a lot of little girls, they don't even wear barrettes anymore? As crazy as it sounds, simple things like that. These young children are slowly but surely, they're getting the perception of them being a child is being stripped from them. Back in my day, children dressed like children. Children looked like children. 2, 3 years old, children didn't have boom boom shorts on. If you go into a lot of these clothing departments and stuff, if you notice, a lot of these clothes they make for these 2 and 3 year olds are almost like a 15 and a 16-year-old could wear it. They for these little girls, they shorts are shorter and shorter. Their shorts used to be below the knee or right above the knee. Now it's way almost, like coochie cutters. A lot of these children are slowly but surely becoming less of a child. And that is why we have so many problems that we got. And you know who buys this stuff? Guess who buys it? Guess who buys these boom boom shorts? Guess who buys all these expensive clothes and expensive things for these children? It's the mothers. It's the parents. Y'all buy these children all of these, grown looking clothes, and you wonder why these little girls, they already sassy at 5, 6 years old, because you dressing them like little women. How they got whoop-de-doo hairstyles? How you got 2, 3-year-olds wearing finger waves, wearing sew-ins? I mean, come on. You got these young men, these little boys, 4, 5 years old, already sagging, already wearing necklaces and jewelry. I don't understand. I never could understand why people buy their children jewelry and they're only 3 and 4 years old. I don't understand that. Why would you buy a necklace and put a chain around their neck where kids, they like to play. Kids are very accident prone. Kids could, they could miss and grab up on something that grabs that chain and chokes them. A lot of you young moms and you young fathers, y'all allow y'all children to just not be children. And it's very unfortunate that a lot of these children, this is the reason why they're off the chain. This is the reason why we have the violence we have. You got these little boys, 4 or 5 years old, getting haircuts like hairstyles like they 20 years old. I've seen 6 or 7 year olds get two, three lines cut in their eyebrows. Instead of you taking your child to get a simple haircut. Exactly, EE. Same thing with these little girls. And you wonder why they end up pregnant at 13, 14 years old. You've been letting her dress, wear tights. I'm seeing 4 and 5 year olds wear tights. You know, and there's nothing wrong with letting little girls wear tights, but you let them wear a long dress or a long shirt to wear, you know, their butt and their front is not showing. Because, you know, tights show every crease within your body. You got grown women that do it. If you're going to wear tights, you don't wear tights like they're pants. You're supposed to wear tights like they're like stockings, basically. You're supposed to wear them, you know, under a dress or under some shorts. That's really what it's for. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. AK says, Mocha, I was in a children's store and I saw a little girl outfit that was leopard print that says so juicy. I'm telling you, I'm serious as a heart attack. This is why we have such troubled youth. They're not even 15 years old yet, and they're already dressing like they're 15. A lot of them 8, 9 years old, and you got them dressing like little women. You got them dressing like little men. What's wrong with them just having some nice jean shorts, a nice little shirt, clean shirts, nice little tennis shoes? That's it. All of this, you got these kids. Some of y'all got y'all children, some of y'all got y'all daughters in the nail salon at 7, 8 years old. 6, 7 years old. You know, and I get it. I mean, I see little 2, 3-year-olds in the nail shop getting their regular little nails painted with their mama, doing Mother and Daughter Day. But God dog, she's 7, 8 years old. You got her, you letting them put tips on her nails? Really? How she 8, 9 years old and getting a French manicure? Just because you got the money and you could afford it, that is not, she's not old enough for that yet. You making her a woman before her time. What she need to be doing is she need to enjoy being a little girl. You notice little girls don't even wear barrettes in their hair anymore. Yeah, Jeremy says, yeah, 5, 6 years old girls twerking. This is why we have so much violence in the community. I'm telling you, these children are forced to be in young adults before they even become adults. Already, they learning how to act womanly. Little girls are learning how to act womanly before they become women. Little boys are learning to act manly before they become men. And a lot of the parents, they think it's cute. And then when these same monsters turn around and disrespect you and talk back to you, now you want to kill them. Now you want to slap them. You want to knock them down. You want to get rid of these monsters that you create. You don't want no parts of them. And what happens is when these parents don't want no more parts of the monsters that they have created, they leave them, they throw them out here to society, they discard them. They discard these kids. And when you discard these children, they end up becoming a burden on the whole community. These are the same children that go around killing other people's children. Killing people's children who are being raised, who are trying to make something out of themselves. These are the ones that they target. Exactly, Rep. And I agree with you 100%. We want to teach our children the latest fashion. But what happened to teaching them how to be respectful? Last time I checked, respect didn't go out of style. The last time I checked. What is wrong? Some of y'all kids don't even know how to say yes ma'am, no ma'am. Some of y'all little boys don't even know how to open the door if he sees a female coming in behind him. He'll just walk and don't even look and slam and let the door slam. A lot of y'all got little girls who y'all entertain y'all daughters like they women. And when these same little girls turn around and talk back to you or say something out of pocket, you want to knock these little girls to the floor. But you allow your daughters, you entertain them with your womanly situations. These little girls don't need to be in your mouth, in your conversation, hearing what you and your female friends are talking about. Your daughters don't need to be hearing about, oh girl, I got me some good pipe last night. Y'all all on the cell phone, your daughters, your sons in the car, hearing everything you discuss with your adult friend on the other end of the phone. These kids, they know too much and they see too much. And 9 times out of 10, when a child knows too much and sees too much, they end up doing too much. That is what happens. Y'all create monsters. And when you create monsters, these monsters you create become monsters to society. This is why the prison facility systems is overcrowded. If you go talk to the majority of these inmates, the majority of them will tell you, I came from a single parent household. A lot of them will tell you, my father was never in my life. Some of them will tell you, my mom never allowed me to have a relationship with my dad. It's a reason for everything. It's a reason why the black community has gotten so out of hand, because we're straying away more and more and more from the foundation of a family. If black people learn to focus more on being a family instead of just having children, don't you realize we wouldn't have half of the problems we have? If so many of these young men wasn't going around screwing so many of these other young females in the raw and producing babies like roaches, we wouldn't have the problems we have. It's too many. The problem with the black community is we're too busy having children instead of having families. Do y'all realize that has become a curse to the black community? We're not striving for families anymore. We're just striving to have children, to have dependents. Having children and having a family is not the same thing. It is not. It is not the same thing. A lot of us, we don't care that our children don't have the benefits of a mother and a father. We're okay with having these babies by ourselves. We're okay. We're going to these hospitals alone and having these children by ourselves for these babies to come out after pushing 8-9 hours of labor, and there's no father in a hospital room with you. Because you're just going around screwing random men who you have no relationship with, no connection with, none of that. Not that many gentlemen or ladies in the go right tonight. Stop it. I agree with that, Jeremy. It's too many black communities. It's too many of us striving just to be baby mamas and baby daddies. And it ain't just some of these. It's not just these women out here that's producing all of these ratchet children. It's these ratchet daddies too. You got a lot of ratchet men out there. And let me tell you, ratchet men are worse than ratchet women, and I'm going to tell you why. When a female gets pregnant, it takes her 9 months before she can get pregnant again. So for 9 months, she can't get no more pregnant than what she is until she has that child. Then she can get pregnant again after she has had that baby. But the problem with the black males in our community is, y'all could breed way more children than these single mothers. Because what happens is, if you're screwing 6 females at the same time, and you're not using protection with none of these broads that you are screwing, do you not realize that you have produced 6 children within 1 year? Because a woman could only get pregnant every 9 months, but a man, y'all could produce triple that within a 9-month span. If you screwing 12 or 13 women within the same year, and you screwing all of them back to back to back to back, do you not realize that's 12, 13 kids you done produce within a year? Think about, marinate on what I just said. Does that make any sense to anybody? You men, y'all got to be just as careful as these black women out here. They have a bunch of children is not just a single mother issue. You men, y'all have to be careful as well. If you don't be careful, don't. What's going to happen is you're going to be one of those men. You're going to be struggling for the rest of your life. You're never going to own anything. You're never going to have anything because you're going to be too busy paying child support up the ass. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be paying child support for all of these babies, and you don't even love the mama. You don't have a relationship with the mama. You don't have a connection with the mama. Only connection y'all had was between y'all genitals. Jeremy says, what about these females on Facebook that be on live stream because they put their whole lives on Facebook? I agree with that, Jeremy. We have a lot of that going on. And basically, Jeremy, a lot of that has to do with a lot of these ratchet females. They're just trying to advertise. A lot of them like to expose a lot of this stuff on social media because that's just their way of getting attention. That's their way of finding a possible thought target, which is a simp that is gullible enough to sympathize with them and willing to deal with them and all their baggage. That's where a lot of that comes from, Jeremy. So yeah, of course, they're gonna always do that. As long as we have these better males out here, then guess what? These ratchet bras are going to keep advertising. They're going to keep going on social media. They're going to keep, seeking attention, looking for validation, because you men, and I'm not saying, when I say you men, I'm not saying y'all specifically, but there are men out here that are responding to the advertisement. Think about it. If I am trying to sell a new car or something like that, in order for me to sell that car, I have to advertise it. I have to constantly keep putting it out there for people to be interested in my product. And once I build a certain clientele and I realize that all I got to do is advertise, now I'm getting people that's interested in my car. Now I'm getting people who want to buy my car. I'm going to keep advertising. A lot of these ratchet helpers are advertising us their goodies and all of what they have to offer. Is because you got simps out here that are buying into it. That's where it comes from. A lot of these women, they cannot be ratchet by themselves. It's a man out there that's responding to the ratchetness. Think about it. These ratchet baby mamas, they ain't producing these children by themselves. Somebody putting it there. Somebody laying with them. And some of y'all just done got lucky and ain't nothing came out of it. Because some of y'all ain't always using no protection. Y'all, or you wasn't in your best state of mind when you was messing with this broad. You was drunk, you was high, whatever the case is. Majority of y'all could have become a thought target. You just got lucky and blessed and dodged a bullet, but not everybody gets lucky like that. Sometimes you play around with fire long enough, you will get burned. You round here screwing all of these bras with no protection because you too busy looking at how big her booty is, how big her breast is. And yeah, with that big ass and them big titties come with big problems. I know I'm going to have to put this on Patreon because I'm doing a lot of cussing. I know I'm not going to be able to leave this up here. That's a good one, bro. The only ratchet I like is tools. You got that right. I totally agree. Yeah. These ratchet heifers, everybody want to complain about, they ain't become ratchet by themselves. Somebody is responding to the ratchetness. I never forget one of Jefferson Street here in Savannah. It's one of those streets in the hood, because every city got a hood, every town got a hood. And I remember one night I was coming from the store or something, and I seen all of these ugly prostitutes, and half of them looked like trannies. I seen all these, some of them was actually trannies, because you could tell, They was walking and roaming the streets 3, 4 in the morning. And I'm like, what in the world? I just never even knew we had that kind of problem here in Savannah. And then I automatically thought about it. I said, you know what? For them to be out here, somebody buying it, somebody purchasing it, because they're not going to be out here 2, 3 in the morning if nobody wasn't getting it. Somebody is messing. Somebody, in other words, a lot of y'all is entertaining this ratchet behavior, and that's why we have a lot of ratchet dudes and we have a lot of ratchet broads. Jeremy, you from Memphis? Oh, I heard about them out there. I got a stepdad that lives in Memphis. He complains about the women out there. He said Memphis got the worst caliber of females. I have heard about that. I've heard. So I know it's true. Because I done heard it too many times. I've never been in Memphis, but I done heard about it. D Boys, 12830. That's a blessing. Your daughters are grown, so you ain't got them kind of problems. I'm telling you. Makes a difference when you do things the right way. Yeah, and that's why, we produce, we make our children, we make our daughters so womanly at a young age, and you teaching them how to twerk, as Jeremy mentioned earlier. These young girls are learning how to twerk, they learning how to wind up, they learning how to do, all of these womanly, they carry themselves so womanly. And what happens is when these child molesters, these pervs, see these young children acting womanly, it's that sickness in them that thinks that if they act womanly, they want a man, not realizing that just because she's acting womanly, she's just acting. She's still a child. But you have to look at it in the psyche of a child molester. Child molesters don't look at it that way. Child molesters see a 3 or 4-year-old winding up. That in their mind, they thinking that she wants it. She knows what she wants. That's the sick part about it. But that's our reality, ladies and gentlemen. That is our reality. We don't want to talk about it. But that is why we have the problems we got, and a lot of these, like I said, a lot of these women who are moving these men in their homes don't know nothing about them. You picking these guys up, you done met them online, you done met them through prison websites. You move these men in your home, you don't know them from Adam. You thinking this man is interested in you when he's really interested in your daughter. And in some cases, he's interested in your son. You have to be very careful. A lot of the upbringing has a lot to do with why our children, why society is so messed up right now. Because just anything goes. Nobody is using any discretion. Nobody is using any wisdom. Nobody is using any common sense. Nobody's not using, their senses. All common sense is out the door. People are too busy thinking with their hormones. Because you want a man so bad. You won't even take a time to look. You won't even investigate. You won't research. You won't look into the guy's criminal history. Soon as he says, okay, I'll move in with you, you move the man right on in your home. And you don't know nothing about him. Rep says, some of my friends are women. Yeah, and Rep, and that's going to be a lot of that. It's a lot of them out here that's going to continue to keep being grandparents. It's going to continue to keep going. Because, again, a lot of these parents, it's what a lot of people have to understand. Anybody can have children. Let me state that. Anybody can have children. Having children is the easy part. But raising them is a totally different story. Raising them and having them is not the same thing. It's not. Thank you, EE. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you for sending people here. Yeah, what's up, Ernest? Thank you for coming in. Yeah, women are screwing the same kind of guys because they know the reason why they do that, Ernest, is because they know those are the only type of guys they can get. They stick with what they feel comfortable with. They know not to even look for nothing. They know to keep their expectations low, Ernest, is because that is what makes them feel comfortable. Some of these women pick up the same type of dudes is because that is their level of self-esteem. You will pick up the type of dude based on how you value yourself. And the same thing with you men out there. You will pick up a woman based on how you value yourself. You can learn a lot about a man. You learn a lot about a woman based on the type of companion they choose. For all my guys out there, if you keep picking up ratchet women, that's all you keep attracting. That's the only type of women that's interested in you. Well, what is in your energy? What is in your spirit that's causing only trifling females to get attracted to you? If you keep picking up ratchet women, if you have this attitude, all women are the same. No, you keep picking up the same women. What is it about you where that's all you keep getting to notice you is just ratchet women? Same thing with you females. If you keep sitting up here talking about all men are dogs, all men ain't no good, all men are trifling and this, and that, why is that all you attracting? Why is that all you keep getting? What is it about your spirit? What type of energy are you giving off? What type of vibe are you giving off whenever all you keep getting is ratchet dudes to approach you? Because I know one thing, to me personally, if I keep getting ratchet guys to approach me, that's going to make me check myself. Because the main thing I'm wondering is, what is it about me that's drawing these type of men to me? Why am I appealing to these ratchet guys? What is it about me where they keep targeting me? That's when you have to do self-evaluation. You got to look into yourself. If, ladies and gentlemen, if you keep attracting the same type of people, what are you doing to keep getting that same attraction? What are you doing? Are you dressing a certain way? Do you keep going to the same hood places? What are you doing? You're going to have to do some self-change. You're going to have to change from within. Because there's something about you where you keep picking up the same type of people. Something is wrong. We're not going to keep saying that same line, all men are the same, all women are the same. No, so if that's all you're drawing, something you're doing. That's what it boils down to. Yeah, exactly, the boys. It's not about having children. It's about who you have your children from. The problem is people need to start producing these children out of love and less out of lust. We have too many children that are being brought into this world based off of lust. It just has to do with lust. It has to do with just being straight irresponsible, being negligent. Straight negligence and being straight irresponsible. A lot for women up here who got 3, 4, 5 children, it's because you want to have that many. Don't complain about how hard it is. Don't complain about how much you don't have no help. You don't have this, you don't have that. You knew 9 times out of 10 when you was laying up with him, he wasn't really compatible with you then. You barely could get him to stop by to just see you. So what you thought having a child was going to do? A lot of y'all know what y'all be signing up for. Everybody that's over 30 years old, you ought to know better. You know what you're signing up for. You should have been out here in this world long enough. You done dated enough of people. You done been out there enough to know kind of, you may not always have an idea of what you want, but you should have an idea of what you don't want. At least you should have something mastered by the time you're 30 years old. You should know something. What's up, Darius Collins? Thank you for coming in. But not to the gender black woman. Yeah, I agree, Darius. They are very doomed. Very. Because it's going to continue to get worse. Because the problem is, this generation is losing more and more of its values and its morals. All of those morals and values are being thrown out the door. We're losing all of that. Absolutely. And let me tell y'all something. You know why a lot of y'all are having problems with with these children? You know why the black community is having problems with the youth today? Because a lot of y'all are not compatible with the individual who you conceived the child from. Let that marinate what I just said. The reason why a lot of y'all are having problems with these children in the youth, in the black youth today, because a lot of y'all are not even compatible with the parent. And y'all, and when you're not compatible with the parent, you produce a seed with the parent you're not compatible with. How you think that child's DNA is going to be? I mean, marinate on that. A lot of y'all have screwed up children. You wasn't even connecting with the mother or the father anyway. So when y'all produced the child came here screwed up. A lot of y'all ain't even spiritually yoked with the children you producing, with the children you produce from the other person. A lot of y'all ain't even spiritually yoked. There's no spiritual connection, and you wonder why the children come here all screwed up and have all kind of problems. There was no connection. Half of y'all got children from people you can't even stand. You know why? Because there was no connection. Only connection was just the genitals. That was the only connection. So when that child comes here and gives you all kind of problems, that child, you couldn't say, oh, you act just like your mama. You act just like your daddy. Because the child was produced off of lust. There was no love. There was no connection. And that is part of the seed that has been produced. A lot of people don't want to think that deep. But what you have to realize is if you meet a man that's trifling or you meet a woman that's trifling or they ratchet, you have a child with that person, it's going to be in that child's DNA. I guarantee you. If you can't stand the mother or father, eventually you ain't going to be able, you can't stand a child either that you produced it from. Common sense. It is what it is. Yeah. See, absolutely. Rep says, when you understand bloodlines and how sex is supposed to be, you will think twice about, yo, I'm telling you. You just said a mouthful, Rep. That right there just stung my spirit. You ain't never lied. People have to realize how delicate DNA is. DNA is nothing to play with. People have to understand it's more to sex than just sex. It's more than just, I meet this man, I meet this woman, they look good to me, I want to get off of whatever the case is, and y'all become sexually engaged and think that's all there is. Do you realize your spirit connects with that person when y'all become sexually intimate? A lot of y'all, you can't stand your son, you can't stand your daughter, you can't stand the mother or the father of that child, is because that DNA it wasn't compatible in the first damn place. It was not compatible. It wasn't. A lot of y'all wonder, I have a lot of men say, I don't get along with my daughter. I've heard men who tell me they don't get along with their daughter. Well, if you wasn't getting along with the mother before you produced that daughter from her, do you realize your daughter is going to have ways like the mother that you produced her with? It's common sense. I've heard women say, I cannot stand my child's father. I know women who can't stand, who don't even get along with their son. Do you realize your son is going to have ways just like the man you can't stand that you produced that child from? That's why we got a lot of unwanted children around here, ladies and gentlemen, is because the DNA, y'all was not compatible before y'all even conceived the child. That's how deep this thing runs. Y'all don't want to look at it like that. Your child is going to have ways like that mother or that father. If you are dealing with somebody right now and you already see things about their personality that you don't like, or you can't see yourself being with that person, let me tell you something. If y'all conceive a child together, that same person you can't stand, that same man, that same woman that you don't get along with, if y'all have a child, I promise you that child is going to have a lot of them damn ways that you can't stand about that person. That's how real this is. That's why you can't be laying up with any and everybody. Because once y'all produce that seed, the majority of the time, is going to have most of y'all ways. That's but biologically, genetically, you're not going to be able to get around that. If that mother is trifling or that father is trifling, you produce the seed. That seed is not going to miss it. It's not going to. I know y'all just thinking, hey, sex is just sex. It's so much that comes along with it. A lot of people don't understand that. And then let me tell you something. Do y'all realize it's a lot of spirits in the bloodline? Do y'all realize that y'all could be producing a child from a family that has a lot of curses in their bloodline? You could be producing a child from, let me tell you something. Every family has some type of generational curse. What's up, Frito? Thank you for coming on in to stop by and holler at me. I appreciate it. I learned that sex is beautiful when it is applied correctly. Exactly. Yes, Rep. Absolutely. And that's very rare to hear from a man. So I give you 1,000% props on that. Matter of fact, I got to screenshot that because I'm a post that. Thanks, Rep, for sharing a lot of your knowledge with me. I appreciate it because, believe it or not, I learned from all of y'all too. Just like y'all learned from my channel, I learned from a lot of y'all as well. So I appreciate the feedback. That is what a lot of people don't understand. Sex could be very beautiful if it is applied correctly. The problem is too many people have learned to be intimate with people just based off of lust and instead of love. And we wonder why children come here corrupt and we have all of these problems. You have to realize how detrimental sex is. It's a lot of generational curses in people's family. Every family everybody in this chat room, every family has some type of generational curse. Whether if it's perversion in the bloodline, whether if it's poverty in the bloodline, whether if it's criminal tendencies in the bloodline. Every black family has some type of spiritual curse. And if you are laying down with these men and these women and you are not aware of the curse that's within a bloodline, you're going to have a child in this world, come in this world with all kind of problems, with all kind of issues and all of that. And you're not going to understand. You're going to think the child is just being disrespectful. You're going to think the child is just acting out. You're going to think the child is just bad as hell. When really, y'all have reproduced a generational curse. A lot of y'all are reproducing generational curses, and it's coming right through your children. It's coming through your children. A lot of people don't want to think that far. Thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, I didn't know O'Shea said anything about me, Frito. Thank you for telling me, because I did not know anything. I didn't even know he mentioned anything. I had no clue. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is why we need to talk about stuff like this. Everybody wants to talk about what's going on in the world, what's going on in the media. We need to do some real spiritual surgery. People need to really have a defining understanding as to why we go through the things that we're going through. If people understood the real dynamics of why they have the problems they have, they would learn how to change their lifestyle. They would learn how to change their way of thinking. A lot of us are in our own prison based on lack of knowledge. When you have no knowledge, you have no wisdom, you have no morals, you have no values, do you realize you incarcerate yourself? You arrest yourself from developing? A lot of y'all are in prison. based on just not having any knowledge or wisdom. You don't have to be in jail behind in an actual jail cell or be in prison. A lot of y'all are mentally imprisoned because you don't have any knowledge. You're not looking for knowledge. A lot of us, we don't want to be taught. A lot of us, we don't want to be raised. Let me tell you something. You could be a grown man and a grown woman and you still need to be raised. A lot of us need to be spiritually raised because let's face it, a lot of y'all didn't have real mothers. Some of us didn't have real mothers, didn't have real fathers who raised us. A lot of people have been self-taught. And being self-taught is very dangerous. When you have to teach yourself everything all your life, and there was no adult that gave you any wisdom, any knowledge, or any type of, fulfilling, information that would be beneficial to you in your adulthood. Darius says, family reunion is more than just barbecue and beer. Yeah, absolutely, Darius. And I'm glad you brought that up. People have to realize when family comes together, family, we're supposed to do more than just, who's bringing the potato salad, who's bringing the ice house, who's bringing the liquor. It's about showing our younger youth that as a family, we have to constantly be in touch with each other. We have to constantly be involved with one another. The problem is with a lot of black families, people have gotten too used to just looking out for themselves, looking out for theirs and themselves and theirs only. Black families, we have strayed away from looking out for each other. Everybody is only concerned about those that's within their own personal house. We don't look out for each other's nieces, nephews, each other's children's. We don't stray away from that. Rep says, Lady M, the average person don't spend quality time with themselves. Learn who you are. Yeah, you have to. Let me tell you something, Rep. I have learned that a lot of us are lost in the cause. And you made a very excellent point there. A lot of us are lost in the cause. Rep, before you leave this chat room, I want you to email me. I should have my email within a link. Matter of fact, I'm going to send you my email now. Yeah, email me, Rep, sometime today so I can get your email or whatever. And that's for anybody in here. If y'all ever want to email me or y'all got any special topics y'all think we need to address, let me know. You know what I mean? I'll be glad to speak on it. That's my email. I've learned a lot of us are lost. A lot of us don't know ourselves. And the reason why a lot of us don't know ourselves is because we have learned to hide behind other people's identities. A lot of us have learned how to hide behind our friends. We have hid behind our families. A lot of us don't know our own personal selves. We think we know ourselves based on who we associate ourselves with. I've learned I had to cut a lot of people off in my life so I can get a chance to know me and learn myself. A lot of us are lost in the sauce because we have learned to identify who we are based on who we are around. Not realizing that you need to learn your own self. You need to learn yourself and you need to learn about you. Yeah, Frito, that's a good point. I want to bring that up too. Yeah, it's too many cliques within these black families. And, it's too much favoritism. You got some of these black families where they got parents that favor one child more than the other. You know what I mean? This grandparent does everything for these grandchildren, but won't do nothing for these grandchildren. It's too much favoritism in these black families. It's too much division. Everybody's too busy trying to compete with each other instead of complete with each other. It's just something about our race where we just don't want to help each other build. We're too busy trying to build on top of each other. We're too busy trying to outdo one another. We're too busy trying to be, outwin and have a one-up on one another. But there's no buildings within the black communities. There's just not. It's too many cliques. And a lot of it has to do with it's been issues that have transpired into the family before we were even born. There's a lot of generational curses, ladies and gentlemen, within these families that was already there before you were even born. It's stuff that happened generations ago when our great grandparents, our descendants. It's always been all type of generational curses. And if you know the history of your family, a lot of us need to study the history of our family. If you look way down your family tree, you will see why. You will find out where the division started. You will find out where a lot of the animosity, a lot of the bitterness, it started from generations long ago, way before you was even born. And it is looking like something that's just happening. No, these are things that has been occurring generations ago. A lot of y'all will look at your family and wonder why so much division, why so much there's no closeness, there's no bond, there's no unity. Do some research and check out your family tree. You have to look at you have to look at your family tree. Cuz history just has a way of repeating itself. That's basically what it boils down to. History just has a way of repeating itself. That's all. And you can't change your situation if you don't know your history. You got to know your history. You got to know, you got to be aware of all of the problems that has transcended within your family tree. And then the thing about it is, knowing about it ain't enough. Sometimes you have to be the initiator. You have to be the one to change it. You have to be the one to initiate family. You may have to be the big person and call around and say, hey, we need to do a family reunion. Let's stop only seeing each other when there's funerals. We need to do a family reunion. We need to do a family vacation. Sometimes you got to be the initiator. If you're waiting for the other person to say, oh, we need to come together, we need to do something, it may never happen. And as soon as y'all lose a loved one and y'all only seen each other doing funerals, then it's like, man, we should have got together before, we should have did this, we should have did that. Time is steady going. And as time and time goes on, our family unit we're going to keep losing loved ones as people age. So it's very important that family learn how to come together and bond with one another, while we still have time, because life is just too short. Yeah. Rep, I totally understand you. Some people just ain't no hope. Some people you can sit down and try to have a conversation with them like a grown man and a grown woman. Some people are so set in their damn ways, there is no changing. I appreciate the thumbs up, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate the thumbs up. Some people are just love being difficult. Some people get a rise out of being complicated. When it comes to individuals like that, only thing you can do with them is love them from a distance. Everybody's not going to see error in their ways. Some people are comfortable with being mean and nasty and complicated. Some people don't like peace. Let's face it. Everybody don't like peace and harmony. Everybody don't like peace and harmony. You got some people, they get off on trying to make other people miserable. It's like an adrenaline. It's like a high for them. Some people get high off of trying to make people miserable. And when you deal with individuals like that, the only thing you can do is love them from a distance. That's it. You ain't got to be mean to them. You ain't got to be nasty. But less is best. The less you see them, the less you talk to them, the better off you are. And that's just the way it is. We can't keep taking excuses from people because they family. We can't keep saying, well, that's my mama, that's the way she is. That's my daddy, that's the way she is. Thank you, Frito Lay, for the donation. Thank you, Frito OG. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we can't keep making excuses for people because they blood. We can't keep saying, well, that's my brother, that's my sister, that's my dad, that's my brother. People are going to continue to keep treating you the way they treat you if you keep tolerating all kind of bull crap. We cannot keep making excuses for people because they family. I don't care if you mama, daddy, brother, sister. Once you have crossed me and you have used me and you have betrayed me, I'm not going to keep taking all kind of stuff off of you just because we related and we share the same blood. Let me tell y'all something. You condition yourself to how people treat you. You program yourself to be, you program people to treat you the way that they treat you. You are the master. To everybody in this chat room, you are the master of how you are treated. You program people to treat you a certain way. Once you don't allow the person to cross a certain line and you keep talking to them, you keep entertaining them, you keep hanging around them, you keep going out to lunch with them. Every time they call you, you're willing to run to their rescue. Guess what? You set yourself up to be treated the way you're being treated. If you don't put your foot down, and and I don't mean putting your foot down by cussing somebody out, anybody could do that. You put your foot down by not allowing yourself to be disrespected. Just because that's your mother, just because that's your father, just because that's your sister, your brother, your cousin, that don't mean it's acceptable to be disrespected. Because family can burn you. Family will burn you quicker than a stranger in the street. We need to stop making excuses. I don't care that mama's sick, daddy's sick, whatever. That's no excuse for them to be treating you and talking to you the way that they talk to you. Especially when you're a grown man, you're a grown woman, and you know you're a good person, and you know you ain't never been one to go around and just try to make people miserable. If you know, because come on now, because some of y'all, a lot of y'all won't admit it, but a lot of y'all are the creator of your own demise. A lot of y'all are going through what you're going through because of the karma. So you, whatever you put out there is what you get back. So don't be sitting up here playing the victim saying, I don't know why people treat me the way they treat me. I don't know why people do me the way they do me. A lot of y'all know why people do you the way they do you. You know you done a lot of dirt. Let's not get all holy and saved and sanctified. Some of y'all know y'all done did a lot of dirty ass stuff, and you want to sit up here and you don't know why people treat you the way they treat you. You know why. And until you clear that with your heart, you clear that with God, you're going to continue to keep going through the stuff you're going through. Granted, we all have messed up. We all fall short. We all have done things. I have done things. We all have disappointed people. But when you deliberately know you have done all kind of dirty stuff and you don't understand why all this hell is going on in your life, I don't know why. You don't know why your children going through the stuff they going through. You don't know why you're going through stuff you're going through. A lot of y'all are just paying debts back to karma. Karma is going to get paid. You're going to pay your debts back to karma. One thing about karma, you will never be able to leave karma in debt. There's no such thing as leaving karma in debt. Karma gonna collect hers, regardless. So if you know you done did all kind of dirty stuff, a lot of y'all could have been delivered a long time ago. A lot of y'all could have been at peace. God could have been changed your situation around. But because you still want to continue to be dirty, and you want to continue to keep lying, and you want to continue to keep manipulating, guess what? You are never going to grow to the next level in life. You're going to be where you are. Sometimes you got to get in your prayer closet and say, God, I messed up. I know I done burnt a lot of bridges. I know I was selfish. I know I put myself first a lot of times. I know I betrayed a lot of people. Sometimes you got to clear that path with God so he can bless you. A lot of y'all cannot be blessed because you still nasty as hell and you lying and you still dirty. And it's okay. You don't never have to admit your faults. You don't have to admit where you've gone wrong. Don't admit it because you're going to keep blocking your blessings. As simple as that. A lot of y'all could have been had way more than what you got now if only you would admit to all of your faults and stop being dirty and stop treating people the way you treat them. Because let me tell you something. All our days are numbered. We ain't got time to be sitting up here lying and acting like we don't have issues. Whatever issues and demons you need to fight, you need to conquer, you need to learn how to conquer that while you got time. Life is too short to be sitting up here and acting like you ain't did nothing dirty. You know you done slept with somebody's husband. You know you done slept with somebody's wife. You know your personal dirt. Nobody got to tell you where you went dirty at. A lot of y'all know you dirty till you get that, till you repent. Until you repent and you clear that with God, that dirt, that stain is going to live with you till the day you die. It's as simple as that. You have to clear yourself. And for those of you who are having issues with people, family who have done you dirty, family who has never apologized for what they have done, you may have had a mother, you may have had a father, you had a sister, you had a brother, cousin who done did you dirty, and you still holding hostage in your heart because they never apologized. They never admitted it. They want to play crazy and say, I don't know what you're talking about. Let me tell you something. You're going to have to stop hating them. You're going to have to remove that hate out your heart because it's going to poison you. The hatred has a way of poisoning you spiritually, and when hatred starts to poison you, it makes you bitter, it makes you resentful. Never allow a person who has did you in to have that much amount of power over in your life, to where you going around hating everybody, hating everything. Every time that person comes in your presence, your spirit just shakes, your spirit just rumbles, because it reminds you, you get that flashback of what that person has done. You're going to have to find closure within yourself. You sometimes, guess what? People are going to leave this world never apologizing. People are going to leave this world never giving you peace. People have been on their deathbeds and still won't say and won't apologize for all they've done wrong. You cannot hold your life hostage because somebody won't apologize for what they did to you. Now, I did this on the last video. I did a video called Finding Your Own Closure. You got to find your own closure. Stop waiting for people to come around and say, oh, I was wrong for what I did to you. I was wrong for how I lied to you. I was wrong for taking advantage of you. You're going to have to find closure within yourself. Because some people, if you're waiting for somebody to apologize so you can feel free, you're going to stay in bondage. You're going to stay in bondage. Some people will never find any error. They will never see any error in their ways. So you're going to have to find, if you can't get that apology from that person who you want it from, you can't get that apology from that friend, from that family member, let me tell you something. What you got to do is apologize to yourself for them. You got to apologize to you. Apologize to yourself by saying, you know what? I apologize. I owe me an apology for allowing that person to use me, to take advantage of me, but I'm going to have to move on. I'm going to have to end my hatred or my animosity that I have allowed to keep building within me and manifesting within me for this person. You're going to have to let it go. It's not healthy. Because while you're walking around here hating them and angry with them, guess what? They ain't even worried about you. They sleeping peacefully at night. A lot of y'all cannot rest. A lot of y'all can't find no peace because you still pissed about somebody who done did you in. And the bottom line is you are allowing that person to have power over you because you're still angry with them. You're giving that person way too much power. That's the whole bottom line to it. Proverbs says they know what they have done. It tells character and courage to admit wrong. And that's why at some point we think all the time. It does. It takes maturity. And a lot of people don't have maturity. And a lot of people realize that just because they're not apologizing, that don't mean they're not going through. Because karma already got their address. Even if they never come up to you and say, I was wrong for what I did. You don't have to get upset about it because karma is going to work as magic anyway. Sometimes it's not up to you to retaliate against that person. It's not up to you to make that person acknowledge their wrongdoing. You have to let God do that. What's up, James Harvey? How you doing? Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, all of this has a lot to do, ladies and gentlemen. I know I've been digressing and all over the place, but a lot of this issues with family, issues with things in the past, a lot of this plays a part as to why we have so much of this violence in the community. It's a lot of shady stuff going on in these black families, in these black communities. It's a big elephant in the room, and a lot of us as black men and black women, we're not addressing it. We're not talking about it. A problem with a lot of black families, we have learned to sweep stuff under the rug. We don't want to talk about it. We want to act like it never happened. And what happens is when you don't deal with issues and you keep sweeping them keep sweeping them up under the rug, it just manifests through each generation. And that is why we have all this violence and all of these killings that are going on within the black communities, because a lot of these people come from families that have had all type of issues, all type of bad spirits that have transcended from generation to generation in these black families. And because they have not been dealt with and they have not been addressed, this is the reason why we have all of these issues within the black community. Okay, because black families, we're too busy sweeping stuff up under the rug. We want to act like it didn't happen. We don't want to talk about it. We keep too many secrets. How many black families have been told what goes on in this house stays in this house? How many of us have heard that? A lot of y'all know, a lot of black families, y'all know a lot of stuff that been going on in these families, and y'all don't want to talk about that crap. What's up, D boys? Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. We want to keep sweeping stuff up under the rug. And don't worry, you keep sweeping stuff up under the rug, it's going to come back, and you're going to come back to bite you. It's going to come back. And sometimes, too, things come back when you're not even here to correct it. This could be problems that your grandchildren and your great-great-great-grandchildren end up experiencing because while you were here, you didn't address it. You didn't change that generational curse. A lot of y'all could have changed the generational curse long time ago. And until you change it, you want to keep sweeping it up under the rug. You want to act like it ain't happened. You want to act like you want to hide the dirt behind all the materialistic things because you got a nice house, you got a nice car, you got a good career, you're doing great. All that stuff that's well, fine and everything, but all that sweeping stuff up under the rug, God cannot heal what is not being revealed. Exactly, Frito. Everybody's been taught to keep your mouth closed, and that is why we got our problems we got. A lot of y'all know violence been occurring within these black families, but we don't learn how to talk about it. And you wonder why you got this younger generation in your family that goes out here and repeats the same thing. Because y'all don't want to talk about, let me tell y'all something. You got to make your kids be aware of the generational curses within your family. That way, when they start experiencing similar situations, they will remember what you told them. I sat down and I talked to my daughter. I told her about the generational curses in my family and in my husband's family. I had to sit her down and make her be aware of it so she don't fall into that same trap. A lot of us, we need to talk to our youth. We need to talk to our daughters, talk to our sons. I don't care if they act pig-headed like they don't want to listen. It is still your job as a parent. You need to make your children be aware of the generational curses that are transcending within your family. There's a lot of curses within the bloodline. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about when granddaddy used to abuse grandmama. We don't want to talk about when our uncles molested our nieces or nephews. We don't want to talk about that. We want to act like that only happens in white families. And it doesn't. Yep, Frito says, rape, incest, drug. Yeah, exactly. All that's going on. And y'all want to act like it's just these white families that got all these hidden issues. Y'all, the black families, some of these black families got more dirt than the goddamn graveyard. Y'all got all kind of dirt, all kind of lies, all kind of secrets in the family. Your daddy done did all kind of dirty stuff. Your mama done did all kind of dirty stuff. Nobody don't want to talk about it. We just want to act like, oh, that was years ago. Why do we want to talk about that old stuff? You need to talk about it because these younger people that are being produced in the family, that are coming up in the family, if you do not make them aware of the generational curses that have transcended in this family, it's going to continue to keep happening. It's going to continue to keep getting worse. That's what it boils down to. Y'all want to sit up here and act like, oh, that's not my family. Let me tell y'all something. None of y'all families ain't perfect. Anybody in this chat room now want to act all high sedity and act like y'all family ain't got no kind of issues? Let me tell you something. The devil is the lie. A liar. You look in your family tree, you're going to find out all kind of dirty stuff. You're going to find out your granddaddy used to be a hoe. Your grandma used to be a hoe. You're going to find out your mom and your daddy going to tell you, I really don't know who my daddy is. I really don't know who my mom is. It's all kind of stuff that goes on in these black families, yo. We need to keep it real. We need to prepare our younger generation for all of the trials and tribulations that we have encountered so they don't have to repeat the struggle. Your children should not have to repeat the struggle. They should not have to repeat those same generational curses if you make them aware of what your family done went through. A lot of your children are going to go through the same thing that y'all have gone through because y'all will not keep it real. Y'all too busy trying to act all high sedity. Too busy trying to act all like you'd all of this and that, and you don't have no issues. You didn't come up struggling. You know, your struggles your struggles, you can utilize that as a lesson for your children and your grandchildren. Share your struggles with your children and your grandchildren. Share that with them. Talk to them. Let them know this is what I went through. I don't want you to have to go through this. And share that with them. The purpose, what a lot of people don't realize, ladies and gentlemen, all the stuff you go through, you're supposed to share that with the younger youth. You're supposed to share that with the younger generation. That way they don't have to repeat your mistakes. They don't have to follow your footsteps. That's what I do with my daughter. I share with her everything I've gone through. So she don't have to repeat that. I've already went through the struggle for her. She don't have to repeat it. A lot of y'all don't mind y'all children go through the same struggle with y'all because, y'all got too much pride. Y'all too biggity. Y'all too proud. That admit your mistakes and admit your faults. You have to share that with the generation so they don't follow your footsteps. But on that note, it's definitely been pleasant. I appreciate everybody who stopped by my chat room. I appreciate all the donations. I appreciate y'all support. I appreciate y'all sending other people to my channel. My subscribers have been increasing significantly. And I definitely want to thank all of y'all for that. I did not do it by myself. All of this has happening. My subscribers keep increasing. It is because of all of you. I thank all of y'all so much. I thank y'all for coming to my channel, sharing with me y'all knowledge, y'all wisdom, because as much as I like to share my wisdom and knowledge, believe me, I'm just as hungry for wisdom and knowledge as y'all are. So I'm glad that we are all able to come in this chat room and share each other's wisdom and knowledge, because let me tell you something, wisdom and knowledge is needed today. It is needed more than money. It is needed more than popularity. It is needed. Wisdom and knowledge and common sense is needed. A lot of people need it more than we can understand. There's people going through real situations and real struggles out here. And the only way people are going to find a way to deal with life and deal with situations, they got to be given knowledge. They have to be given wisdom. They have to be given spiritual awareness. So I definitely want to thank all of y'all for coming in here. Y'all gave me a lot of good content, a lot of good feedback. I really thank all of y'all for all of y'all information y'all shared, because everything y'all shared with me in this chat room, I'm going to add all of that. I'm going to add all of these ingredients to my next recipes and everything. So just keep in mind, as y'all are learning from me, I am definitely learning from y'all. But I definitely want to thank y'all for being in here. Want to thank y'all for the donations. Also, I do have another channel. I think it's Lady Mocha's Lounge 2. Make sure y'all subscribe to that, just in case something happens to this channel. It's a lot of vloggers that are losing channels, getting flagged. I don't know what's going on. It's a lot of people with good content that are losing their channels. I don't know what's going on with that. So just subscribe to that one as well, just in case something happens to this one. That's just my backup channel. So on that note, I want to thank all of you for stopping by. This is your girl, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always break you off a slice of knowledge, and I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth. Y'all have a wonderful and awesome day. Thank you. Take care. Love y'all. Be blessed.